Hi, this video is going to be made with different aspects of the expedition that has been happening towards me now. And I'm going to mention a little bit of just a small section concerning the Connecticut harassment. But first what I want to illustrate to you is two things. I want you to listen to this and listen to this closely. This is in reference to a targeted individual who was being covered on George Norrie's show, Coast to Coast, on 2/14/13. And you can go to YouTube and listen to that entire broadcast. Now, what people have to understand, you can go to YouTube and type in gang stalking bullying on steroids. It's a YouTube video of a person being covered on the news concerning him being a gang stalking target. See, what fellow Americans and fellow San Diegoans might not know concerning what us targets put up with as a result of being a target of these crimes is that we are harassed through clever means everywhere we go. We're assaulted. Some of us are even raped, okay? And we do nothing wrong. We're targets and victims of organized crime that's in the system. That not only uses the system to expedite these crimes, host them, manage them, and protect them, but they also are used to discredit the target. And one of the ways that you discredit a target is to make sure that they feel harassed everywhere you go. Think about it this way. Say if you went to 6 stores in one day, okay? You got up, you left your home, you're a law-abiding citizen, you bother no one, and then you get to the first store, and there's a McDonald's inside that store. But before you go to the McDonald's, you're in 3 separate aisles, and in each aisle, somebody walks up to you and bumps into you and says, "Weird," and then they'll say, "Excuse me." Then you get down to the same end of that same aisle, somebody else will do the same exact thing. Then you get to the next aisle, somebody will do the same exact thing. Then you get 2 aisles or 3 aisles over, 5 minutes later, 2 other people do the same exact thing, back to back. Then you get into the McDonald's, and 2 or 3 separate people do the same exact thing. Bump you and then say "weird," and then they'll say "excuse me." Yeah. That's what organized gang stalking expedition targets experience on a non-stop basis. That type of harassment. And that in turn makes you feel stalked because there's no way that just one type of harassment could be happening towards you multiple times in one day. Every day. Everywhere you go. And this is done to provoke you to act out, so they can then stage the witnesses, hoping that you'll act out, or they can call the police on you to have you arrested, even though you're the one who's the victim of the crime. What it is it's organized harassment that is achieved as a result of stalking a target, tracking a target, and surveilling a target. And their whole goal is to try and provoke you to act out so they can call you crazy for claiming that you're being stalked and harassed by people you don't know. Yeah. To call you delusional. And a lot of this is done in order to be able to falsify police reports over time, yes, to ban you from businesses so you have to go way out of your way just to get your needs met, and then you're gang stalked to those places as well. So when you think about somebody pinching you 1,000 times a day, I've seen a YouTube blog, vlog online that was titled 1,000 paper cuts in one day. Because that's what it feels like to be a target of these crimes. You're harassed hundreds of times a day in the same exact way everywhere you go. And that's not the only aspect of what happens to you as a result of being a gang stalking target. The whole goal for them is to set up harassment for you to experience everywhere you go, including your hiking area. They set up a guy to hike about 300 feet away from me. And he started setting up his camp 1 week after I was banned from UCSD for doing literally absolutely nothing. except for trying to expose the crimes that were happening towards me on their campus. As a result of cyber surveillance, they seen I was doing it, so they orchestrated a scheme to make it appear that they had a legitimate reason to ban me. Yeah, and so what they were doing was setting up this protocol of tiered schemes, okay? So things wouldn't happen in a concentrated fashion as far as big events go. So they waited to set this guy up after I was banned from UCSD. And they've had him walk by my hiking area and engage in the same exact behaviors that I caught 3 teenagers admitted to if they were put on a bus route. I wear a digital tape recorder attached to my bra, and it's running on full power everywhere I go, at all times. On January 28, 2012, I caught 3 teenagers admitting they were put on a bus to harass me in ways that I had already video blogged about months prior. And that video, in reference to what they admitted to, was caught on this digital tape recorder, uploaded to a video, and that YouTube title is titled, Learning Disabled Woman Catches Gang Stalker Admitting Sent to Harass. Look in the description of that YouTube video. It shows a video that was published 2 months before they were caught, showing me explaining what I was putting up with along my routes. And what I was explaining is what the 3 teenagers admitted to 2 months later. Also, additional videos were made before that video was made that's in the description of that video on USD campus, showing me explaining that I was being gaslighted in the same exact way in November of 2011. Okay? Now, the point I'm trying to make is that I have literally been gang stalked along all my routes every single day along all of my routes ever since I came back here to San Diego for the first time since 2006 on August 8, 2011, along all of my routes. I have undisputable huge amounts of proof that are online right now that I'm being gang stalked everywhere I go. Go to YouTube and type in gang stalking bullying on steroids. You'll clearly hear an individual who's being covered on the news stating that he is harassed and stalked everywhere he goes, and that the perpetrators have even gotten on the roof of his home. Yeah, so he'll notice them being up there to make him feel harassed. I have been gang stalked at public libraries, universities, stores, banks, post offices, laundromats, restaurants of all kinds, grocery stores. Yes, because their whole goal is to try and make you feel powerless over you being stalked, and to try and get you to open up about the gang stalking so the syndicated police officers can file a false police report concerning your mental health. Because the motivation for this crime to begin with is to co-opt your finances by calling you crazy. And that's where the probate attorneys come in at, to try and to make you a ward of a state, to put you in a syndicated run environment so they can co-op your monthly checks, exploit your insurance, and exploit you sexually in a syndicated run group home by claiming that you're delusional because you're claiming you're being stalked by people you don't know. That's the whole reason why they do it. Hundreds of thousands of dollars are made off the insurance fraud alone, let alone the co-opting of my monthly check. Yes, by taking syndicated probate legal control of me, by calling me crazy because I'm claiming I'm being gang stalked, even though I got proof like you would not believe. So they set up this homeless guy. And 2 days ago, I picked up a pallet that was off the hill that he placed there. Now, the 3 days before that, I go to Home Depot where I literally caught gang stalking being set around me at Home Depot, where I was inquiring about getting some wood so I could make myself a bench so I could sit here in the privacy of my hiking area to enjoy the weather. And when they seen that I had already bought some other items at Home Depot, they seen that I wasn't buying the wood because they just deduced I wouldn't be able to carry it. So what they did was set a wood pallet up on the hill for me to see, directly in line sight of when I opened up my tent, believing that I'd go to get it. And then once I went and got it, they had the homeless guy come by and start threatening me because it was his, acting in an extremely physical, provocative way while acting nice verbally. And why was that done? Because the manager of this expedition told him to do it, and they told him to act nice because they know I wear a digital tape recorder. I pulled this tape recorder out in front of the San Diego police, and I've also got videos online showing me uploading audio files from this video camera of proof. I mean, from this digital tape recorder to the video camera, and then uploading that proof to the internet, and cyber surveillance is a method of gang stalking. So the manager of these expeditions is telling people when they harass me about what to do, how to do it, and what not to do, because they don't want it caught on. See, he has gaslighted me when he's walked by me at this location, and when he's walked by me on the street. Okay. Plus, he stole some property from me about a month ago, and then about a week ago, they had him clear some brush 2 feet away from where he stole the property at, so I'd see him doing it. Okay. I already knew it was him that stole the stuff. Then they had him set a pallet up because they knew I wanted some wood. They had him set a pallet up on the hill, believing I'd go get it as a result of seeing it as soon as I opened up my tent, which I did. Then they had him come by and claim the pallet was his, And as he was claiming it, he was acting extremely physically provocative. So I told him if he didn't get out of here, and he said, if you don't give me my payload, I'm going to call the police. And I said, well, you can use my cell phone to do it. And then he started looking at me real threatening, so I went to go pick up a stick, and he says, all right, I'll get out of here. Did they tape record my response to his questions? Will they streamline it into another event? Go to Coast, YouTube, 12/22/2012. It talks about how the government will streamline audio statements from a person and then streamline them into a separate event to make it look like you're violent. Is that the reason why they put the pallet up there for me to get it? Use somebody who's already gang stalked me, have him come here and claim that it's his, and as a result of me having resentment in my mind because he stole my property and has gaslighted me on several occasions, they basically set this up to try and provoke me to act out. And it literally states it on the Coast to Coast show that they will literally tape altercations between a person that they have used to provoke you to get your response to his provocations, or at least the association to the campaign, on tape recorder, so they can then streamline that response to a totally separate event to try to paint the picture that you're violent. When he said he called the police on me and I offered to let him use my cell phone, that's the same exact thing that happened between me and the guy at SDSU when I was arrested. He came up to me and asked me to search my bag, and I told him no. And I told him if he didn't leave me alone, I was going to call the police. And he said, if you don't let me search my bag, I'm going to call the police. And I said, well, you can use my cell phone to do it. They got him to say the same thing towards me here. Did they tape record my response? YouTube, Coast to Coast, 12/22/2012. And listen to how the perpetrators will tape your response to a provocation, streamline that response to a totally separate event to make it appear that you're violent. Because this is part of the way they get syndicated probate control, is to try and claim you're a threat to yourself or others, or that you're delusional. My name is Leslie Williams. I'm in San Diego, California. So basically what they do is associate themselves to the campaign, provoke you to get you to act out, tape record your response of acting out, streamline it to another event that looks totally normal, and then try and claim that you're violent. These are the schemes and methods that they literally go to. I've read Target's blog stating the same thing. Go to Google and type in gang stalking and how they record conversations with targets. You'll see what I'm saying. Thank you.